Hey y'all, this is AL Pick Madame, and this is the recap review for Queen Sugar. So the episode started out with Charlie FaceTiming her man, and I'm just like, y'all know I don't like Davis. I have not liked him since he tried her in front of the whole world. I just can't. Like, I understand she forgave him and he seems to have changed, but I'm not here for it. And it is what it is. So anyway, they flirting with one another, and she like, oh well, let me see what you're working with, because he's had to really get back into the swing of things as if he was a whole athlete again out here. Because the team that he is over, that he is coaching, these ladies be doing it. They be dipping in and doing it for real. So he was like, man, I ain't got no choice but to get out of here because they are a beast. So then later on, we see that she has now linked up with her sister Nova and her aunt Vi, and they're having like a spa day. And Nova and Violet have caught on to how much Charlie is into Davis now, to the point of where she's at that phase where everything she bring up has something to do with him. I was told that I was that girl at one point in time, and I really didn't realize it, y'all. Y'all, I promise y'all, my hair really is still curly. Like, I still get complimented on my hair, and I ain't washed my hair in like a week or two. And I'm about to wash it today, y'all. Like, it's been my hair's still clean. Like, I digress. I can't wait to tell y'all about this product. These products I got from this black-owned company, y'all. I cannot wait. I hate that I slept on them for so long. The moisturization. It's just the moisturization. The moisturization. Okay, y'all, my bad. It might look like it's rough, but y'all don't understand. So anyway, I'm sorry. So she's having somewhat of like a spa day, but at the house, because the pandemic and things is still going on. So, like I said, they noticed that she was all giddy, and every time you look up, she bringing him up. And they were like, ain't nothing wrong with that. You just sprung or whatever. They making little jokes and all that, but it is what it is. And so Nova, obviously is the odd woman out, because for once she doesn't have anyone. Even though, it's painfully obvious that they are going to make that day with her bad. Y'all, excuse me. I'm about to freeze to death, and when I'm freezing, it makes me yawn, and I'm not even sleepy. So I'm sorry about that. I might need to get a blanket at some point to calm my body temperature down. I'm sorry. So anyway, so they start talking and they get serious for a moment, and she was just like, I've been thinking, because there are things that I've realized in my life. This is what Charlie is saying. She's realized that she has always chosen everybody else's needs over hers, and she's put her dreams and stuff on the back burner, and she's always set it off for everybody else and never took care of herself. And so they're trying to get her to understand, you got to pamper yourself. You got to do for yourself. So then she gets a phone call or a message or whatever. She's being summoned somewhere, and, she had literally just said, we need to do this more often, whatever. And then she had to run. She ain't tell nobody what was going on at the time. So it is what it is. But what happened was she had to go and meet with the guy who was talking to her before, who was telling her that, she might be able, they're kind of looking at her like she could be the senator. So when he was talking to her in this conversation, because she had to actually go into New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken, and talk to him. So she had to leave St. Joe to go do this. Talking to this man, and the way that he talking to her, she's like, well, yeah, I did that interview, and I feel like the interview went well, and I let them know everything that was going on or whatever. And the way he was talking, she felt like he was going to make it seem like it was a terrible thing, because she brought up her relationship and defended her relationship with Davis. And so she was like, it's a shame, it is what it is. That man ended up telling her, we don't think you're a good fit for senator anymore. That people want her to be somebody in Congress. So she's looking like, wait a minute, baby. So it is what it is. So y'all, meanwhile at Nova's house, she done called people and told them, look, I'm not coming to work. I ain't doing nothing. Like, she has volunteers and people who work for her and all this other stuff. So she took her a day. She took her what we call in the social worker world a mental health day. So she got into bed and went to sleep. Like, I really was like, I can't believe she's sitting down somewhere. We always see Nova somewhere doing the most. Child, she wake up in a daze because her house is pretty much being raided by the police. And she's awakened out of her sleep looking like, okay, what is going on? And she hopped straight out of her bed with her hands in the air and all of that. And she said, my name is Nova Waterlone. This is my home. I'm a resident who lives at whatever, whatever. And, you know, making it known so that they won't shoot her. You know, we don't need no more Breonna Taylor and all this other crazy stuff popping off no more. Like, we tired. So anyway, y'all, I'm sorry. I got real loud. I didn't realize. See, that's what happened that day when the heifer tried me. Any of y'all who are watching, who have been watching the Married Man Side Heifer saga, this happens from time to time when I get really, like, excited and / upset. So yeah, this was my excited / upsetness, but it still wasn't as loud as it was when I was at work. So anyway, y'all know what it was. So they're doing a raid. This was, oh, we heard that there might be some illegal narcotics in this house. They immediately start tearing stuff up. Y'all know she's working on something that she's gonna put in that paper and all of this stuff. Somebody looking at it, read a little bit up, threw it in the flow. I'm just like, Lord, y'all doing the most. So meanwhile, her nephew, Micah, is at school, and he just came out of the movies with his friend who nobody knows for sure, for certain, as to whether or not this man is gay. And like I told y'all, I don't care what y'all, every episode, I'm going to say it until it pop off. They going to end up being together, being cut buddies, something. Something is going to pop off. It's going to happen. I don't care what y'all say, it's going to happen. Mark my words. Don't believe me, just watch. I can't stand that song because they played it to death when it was out, but I'm just telling you. Mark my words. But anyway, they had come out of a movie theater, and I don't know why I could not look at the blurred poster that was up there and tell what the movie was, but I feel like I'm supposed to know what it is. But he was basically like, oh, what you finna get into? The friend said that he was, you know, about to go link up with somebody, and so he was like, okay, who is it though? So he was kind of trying to be very, you know, like leaving him in the dark. And he like, oh, so this is what we doing now? So he was like, I mean, I'm like, why are you being secretive, sir? So anyway, it is what it is. So then they going by their business. They about to go on where they going. So then we see Prosper and his daughter having their good moments like they have been doing. They're talking. And he's actually like exercising. Like, that nurse has been a godsend. Got him with some weight. So he, you know, of course, he trying to show off for the nurse because he like how the nurse look. So he got the weight doing all of this. I'm like, okay, then set it on Prosper. So, you know, it's been a great experience with that. So I'm like, okay, better set it on Prosper. So what else going on, y'all? Let me see. But yeah, I love that they are, you know, building on their relationship. Oh my gosh. It had been too much. It had been too much tension for years. So then, now we go over to Hollywood. They had the barber shop, and one of the barbers get off the phone or whatever and was talking to Hollywood, was like, yeah, the police came through and they over here looking for folks, and they hemmed up the dude who not Hollywood, that Ralph Angel was doing all of these illegal activities with. Keep in mind, he out here on the baby moon with his wife, Darla, y'all. So Hollywood called him. He like, oh, what's up? What's up, Wood? He done went outside. Man, he ain't got a good sentence in. He already looked like, Lord, I'm caught. The look on his face, whenever there's problems, trouble, and all that, somebody please make that into a meme, because, child. So he was just like, look, basically he told him that they got him. And what did you do? And he over here trying to get an alibi, talk about y'all was together at the barbershop. And he basically said, yeah, I did a job with him. And he was like, you need to let me know what all went down so that don't nothing blow back on me. You know, and now I'm basically in the middle of it because he's trying to make it seem like something went down in my business that didn't go down. Like, y'all, this man that went all the way off. Hollywood is tired. And I live for Hollywood. But these people be really trying to try him. And he ain't the one to be tried. He's really not. Y'all, so the I told you so is about to come up, right? Okay, so, you know, Hollywood was actually at the shop. He got the little boy haircut. So he done took the little boy back to his mama at the hotel room. So the mama outside, she's like, oh my God, you look so good. And so she done told him to say thank you. Then she told him to go wash up and so he can get some of the pie that Vi made. Hollywood, the guy at the car, was like, oh, it's the least I could do, whatever. She's thanking him again about how gracious they've been and all this other stuff. And so she go put her hands on his chest like, oh, you're just such a good man. Oh, it's just so wonderful. I was like, girl, do not do this. Do not do this foolishness. Do not bite the hand that has been feeding you, heifer. Don't do it. So she done did this. And Hollywood already looking like stranger danger. This heifer doing the most. Then this heifer gonna try him. So he was like, let me just go ahead and end this conversation. All right, now I'm gonna get on up out of here. This heifer gonna lean in and try to kiss her. And he's like, no, it ain't going down like that. Hollywood just said it on live. I was like, Hollywood, no. Hollywood had to get all the way up out of character on this heifer. And like, she looked mortified. And then she was like, I'm sorry. And he was like, no, you out of line. After everything that woman had done, I was like, oh God, sir. Like, she was just mortified. And I'm like, you was wrong though, heifer. I know you're embarrassed in this moment, but you should have known you was wrong. You knew you was wrong. So anyway, back at Nova's house, her neighbor that came, because the whole neighborhood know what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? They done set it off. The one of the police officers that came up to her was like, well, how long have you lived at this residence? And she said 13 months. Man, he tried to, come and talk to her and was like, trying to be like, okay, what's going on? You sure you okay? Man, she tried to tell him to stay back. They done hemmed him up, knocked him on the ground. I'm like, y'all done did the most. I'm tired of everybody. Child, Hollywood had to go back to the house and break the news to Violet. So foolish to went down. So she was like, all right, I'll be out in a few minutes. She done came out there. And he looking like, okay, what's wrong with you? She looking like, what's wrong with you? And she really looking like, let me brace myself. Lord, he done told her what done went down. And so one of the things that I didn't like is the fact that Vi had the audacity and unmitigated gall to come up out of her lips and up out of her esophagus and voice box and everything else that helps her to speak and have the words to come out of her mouth and roll off of her tongue to say, well, what were you doing so close to her for her to think that she could be able to kiss you? What? Heifer, ooh, I want to snatch her through the TV screen. But anyway, he set it off and he was like, that the only sweet thing I got a taste for is you. I'm like, why do you do this to Hollywood? You know Hollywood is not like that. If Hollywood's to ever be like that, the world is over with. All men are trash and ain't nobody got all men except my daddy are trash. Like at this point, like don't nobody have time. Like when I tell you the way that he lives for Vi is the way my daddy lived for my mama. We are not gonna play that game. We are not playing that game. So anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. It just tore my nerves up because I was like, Violet. Gotta call you by your government name because you done lost your mind up here. So anyway, Charlie done went to the park where she asked Davis last season to meet her. And she was literally about to FaceTime him and he FaceTimed her. And so she let him know that little tidbit. And so he was like, where are you? Because he saw the background. And so she was like, I'm in New Orleans and I had a meeting, whatever. And so she was just trying to tell him like, there's nothing really to discuss right now, but I am going to have a lot of thinking that I need to do. And the gist of this conversation is they need to figure out where their relationship go because she loves where she's living right now. St. Joe is not New Orleans. And St. Joe and New Orleans and the whole of Louisiana is not California. The South is not the West Coast. And especially if she were to take this position, she's going to have to go. She's more than likely going to have to go and run for Congress and do what she's doing Congress-wise in California. So, yeah, it's just a lot going on. So, he's like, she was really trying to figure out, I'm missing you. Are we going to be able to spend time together? Like, what is going on? He was like, well, I can't do nothing right now. Like, he locked in. Like, he literally cannot catch the red eye or nothing. Like, he has no time to do anything except get a little bit of sleep in between his practices and all this other stuff and get back to work. And so he asked her if she can do that. And she can't even really do that right now. It's like, y'all ain't got time to spend with each other. And I noticed that. And I meant to say something about it because, like, quite a few episodes, these last few episodes, they just been talking like that. It ain't been no, oh, let me sneak in and, oh, let us go up in these cabanas and all this, spending all this quality time together. It's just been FaceTiming. So it is what it is. So we see Micah having, I guess, a dorm room card playing session. I don't know if they were playing spades or not because I was never privy to learn this. I have asked my entire life and nobody would show me ever since I was a child. So yeah, if that's what they were playing, I don't know what's going on. So they were playing, some dude was trying to read another dude. And so this one dude got up because his friend who we saw earlier, who already, nobody knows for sure for certain as to whether or not he gay. So the dude was like, yeah, let me get on up out of here. He could take my spot or whatever. So the dude is still at the table trying to roast people. Little do most people know, this man can hold his own. This dude is blatantly trying to call him gay. And Michael getting mad because he's like, why you keep coming at him like that? Like, why can't people just live their life? And if that is the case, and so what? But oh boy, really kept coming back at that dude and embarrassing him. Because it's like, why you gonna keep coming for this man? And he reading you your rights left and right. It was hilarious. So anyway, they were doing that. It is what it is. So then they showed, I forgot to tell y'all, when Violet and Hollywood left, because their whole purpose was he was gonna come and meet her at the house because they were gonna go and deliver a pie or two to Prosper. So she was like, oh, we making a stop before we go and deliver these pies to Prosper. And I'm like, well, we already know where it's finna be. So they making the stop now. Well, went to the manager's office or whatever, and they said that they checked out. They were gone with no word really said. They just hurried up and left. There's no trace of them now. So now they in the call word, wondering where the heifer went. And if she uses the credit cards, the husband, of course, is going to be able to track and figure out where the heifer at. Like, girl, you should have went to her on your hands and knees and say, I would do anything you want. If you want me to be in a cage at this point, like, to prove to you, let me not be anywhere near him. I can't even get out from behind this cage to touch your man again. Like, girl, chop this finger off. Do something so that you know it's real. Like, she really need to do something at this point. I'm just saying, you're really going to have to show us that it's real. But yeah, it's like now you're playing a guessing game. You don't know if now she's like, dang, I messed up. I ain't got no choice but to go back to my husband. She ain't got that much money on her to just be able to roam free like that. She has nothing. So it's like, girl. So anyway, Ralph Angel is at the place where they got the Airbnb, supposed to be enjoying his wife. She has ordered some egg rolls. She is very excited. She got some kind of dessert over there. She was like, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I'm going to eat dessert first. So she was about to tear something up, and then she was asking me if he wanted a piece and a game was on or something. He over there in a daze because he is thinking about what he has done. So Darla realizes that something is wrong. He ends up telling her what it was. She done set it off. And she was like, you had me looking like I was crazy. You had me apologizing like I was wrong when she was right the entire time. Then he had the audacity to try to reach over and touch her hair. She snatched her head away. I was like, oh my gosh, no. Darla is so mad, but she is so beautiful pregnant, y'all. I just can't. I was like, no. Child, then in the midst of the argument / disagreement / how dare you moment, the doorbell rings and they both look at it and like mortified. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. And then the person says that it's to take out. Now they gotta wonder, is this how we gonna have to deal with life for the rest of our lives? Like, is this what our normal life is gonna be now? So then he gonna do like any typical person who's mad in a situation and don't want to face the music. Let me go get the food. I'm excuse me while I go get the food. It's like, sir, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, I want to slap him for that. But anyway, like, you're not gonna get out of this. You still gotta come back inside of the house after you pick the food up. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm screaming again. I really am not trying to scream, but I don't like when people do that. Oh no, that triggered me a little bit. I was like, So anyway, since Charlie is in New Orleans, her child is there in school. So she was like, I'm sorry to drop in on you unannounced. And, hopefully it's not, too bothersome of me to do this. But, since I was here, I figured I'd do that. He ended up bringing her something to drink. And it's like some with almond milk or something in it, y'all. I don't know. But anyway, she ended up telling him the news, and he was like, okay, so I'll be fine with that. It is what it is, but how will your relationship be with dad? And how will all of this affect him? and you gotta do what's best for you. I was just like, child, this is gonna be a mess. And then he actually talked to her and explained his situation, which was, he's becoming really, really, really close friends with this guy, bordering on being best friends. And he said it's hard to come by. And most people just listen so that they can see when it's time to start talking. But he really do pay attention to him and for real listen to him. It's not like, okay, it's my turn now type of a friendship. And so he actually told him that, nobody really knows for sure for certain as to whether or not this man is gay, bi, whatever. And she was like, no matter what it is, you know how we are. We'll love him anyway and all this other stuff. Like, it is what it is. So the conversation pretty much was like, whatever he is, that ain't got no bearing on you. If you end up being that way, if you were like this, we would still love you. You know that, right? Oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, yeah. Because y'all gonna have that conversation soon. Watch. Just like I told y'all that heifer was gonna try Hollywood. She tried him, didn't she? That's what I thought. So anyway, Billy is at the house and she is enjoying an Italian takeout meal with her daddy, and they're enjoying themselves. They're having a good conversation. And then Violet and Hollywood pop up. Well, she becomes upset because she's trying to figure out who it is, realizes them. They still on the worst of terms. I'm like, Lord. So Billy tried to excuse herself and was like, well, it is what it is. Because Prosper just went straight into, hey, y'all, how y'all doing? It's all right. We was just finishing up anyway. Like, pretty much dismissing his daughter because he lived for them. And I understand those are your friends. You got to calm down. Child. It was so uncomfortable. And Violet and Billy got into it. Then Billy had to set it off on Vibe because it's like, y'all, I'm gonna need for y'all to understand. I understand that you felt a certain type of way because you were married to Jimmy Dale and he was out here cheating. But you never stopped to think about how I was feeling. Because he sat up there and he tried to force himself on me, and I barely got away from it. So this is her finally getting an oh my gosh, wait a minute, I messed up moment. And we see it all on Vi's face where she messed up and she done criticized and talked trash and treated this child terrible her entire life. And she has felt terrible her entire life because it's like, you wouldn't even say nothing to me. You wouldn't even ask me how I was doing. You just automatically assumed that I was a hoe. You just automatically assumed that I was home wrecking. And then she left out. I was like, child. Then Violet tried to chase after her. Hollywood had the whole of us like, bye. I was like, child, gave a couple of seconds before they left out the house so that she had enough time to at least get in the car and start driving off before they left the house. Well, then we see her at a bar. I don't know where she is. I don't know if she went to another parish or if it was a specific type of bar, but she was there. Charlie was sent to find her, and she did find her. And then she actually ended up letting her know that they are more alike than she will ever know, even though that particular situation didn't necessarily happen to her. And so she was just like, look, all this stuff happens. It has happened to me. It happened to you. And she actually said, my aunt is wrong. Violet is wrong. She is wrong for talking to you like that and treating you like that for all these years. And she's just so wrapped up in what she had going on. You have to understand that you have a journey that you have to follow, and she has one that she gonna have to deal with. But hopefully you can deal with yours now, because eventually she'll have to deal with. Because it's like, after all the stuff she'd have been through, look who she with though. Child, look who she with. Hollywood is a whole mood and then some. So anyway, y'all know that they ended up taking Nova to jail, right? They had her in holding, they had her in processing or whatever. They just had her in an interrogation room for 4 hours. She knew that because every 30 minutes they kept coming in there wondering if she gonna speak or whatever. So before they walked in there, she was praying and she said, God, please cover me, please protect me, and all this other stuff. Like, she was saying all of this. Then when the person came in there, she set it off and she was like, I've been in here. I have already told y'all that the marijuana that y'all did find in my house, it was legal. Even though they don't, even though it's, not, you're not supposed to have it, but she actually she's a card carrying member. So you can't say anything to these people if they have the card. And they knew it was valid. And they knew all of this before they took her in. And she said, on purpose, I left it in there next to the weed. So you can't try to make it seem like, oh, I just had it. And I just had it on me like that. And I just was doing the most. And then you trying to take me in and lock me up for that. No, y'all just want to silence me. Release. She said, release me. I said, oh gosh, wait a minute. Please release her. Please. She set it off. And he politely walked over to the door and let her out. So then she walked out. And I was like, well, dang, I don't think she got her phone on her. How she gonna get home? And then the way they be acting towards her, shoot, she might have to walk and hope she finds somebody willing to let her use the phone, because they probably didn't let her even use the phone in there for a free phone call. Well, her neighbor was out the side the entire time, and she was like, you were here this entire time? He was like, of course. I told you I got your back. And they embraced and they hugged. I was like, wait a minute, y'all better set it up. I was here for that whole scene. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the recap of Queen Sugar. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. And let's get down in the comment section and discuss this episode. I'll see y'all later.